everybody. Welcome to City Girls Pod. And this is the show where we like to talk all things Sex and the City and everything Sarah Jessica Parker. So we are talking about Square Pegs. And today we are recapping episodes 9 and 10. And it's, a lot of fun. We just enjoy having a chance to talk to each other. We hope you all enjoyed listening to it.
We're like, this is the vehicle for it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. And some episodes we like better than others. Sometimes we get to just catch up. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah. This will not be the most disciplined episode of the podcast because
I like the way you put that.
These episodes are definitely like filler. There's not a ton going on in either of these episodes. So you'll have to forgive us in advance for some tangents and just chatting and just enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. Go on the ride with us, okay?
That's right. Yeah. Well, let's start out with episode 9. This is Muffy's Bat Mitzvah. And this is Lauren, Patty, Johnny, and Marshall are left off the guest list for the coolest party of the year, Muffy's New Wave Bat Mitzvah. Devo makes their primetime TV debut with the single That's Good.
That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, this was really all about the Devo.
All about the
I mean, there's
for sure.
I really only have 10 lines of notes. And I usually have much more than that. Like for the next episode, I have 21. So, and that's a light episode. Like normally I have a much more for both. But yeah, there's just not a lot happening in this episode. It's all about that music.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it starts out, there were a couple funny lines about Muffy delaying her bat mitzvah because she was in China, had to be delayed. And she says that the new wave bat mitzvah is calling to her. She had to do it.
That did make me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, like some of that banter was fun, but I think they could have done more with Muffy freaking out about all this and just over planning and everything like that.
Yeah, 100%, especially because bat mitzvah is such an iconic moment in a Jewish girl's life.
Yeah.
And Muffy's already at a 10 usually.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was like, yeah, you're right. They could have really amped it up.
Yeah. And basically the conflict is that she didn't invite any of the girls. She didn't invite Patty or Lauren. And they're kind of offended by that. And they thought, oh, we're finally in the cool club, but we're not invited. And then she gets Johnny to play at the bat mitzvah because she thinks that Devo are not going to be able to come. They cancel. So she gets open 48 hours to come and play her new wave club. The club is called Open 48 Hours is the name of the club. And
the amount of money that her parents are throwing at this bat mitzvah is wild.
Yeah. And what was the name of the band though?
Yeah.
Remember?
I didn't write it down. Yeah, but I didn't write it down.
Wasn't it Open 24 Hours? Wasn't it something? Yeah, Open 24 Hours. Yeah. So that's the name of Johnny's band. And now they have Open 48 Hours is the club. So.
They're like, we can only think of so many titles.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're going to streamline this.
Yeah. I mean, when you were in high school, who would have been the big get? Like that you would have been super excited.
Oh, okay.
Like,
for me personally, or like what everyone. So for me personally, it would have been Hanson, but other people didn't feel that. What about you? Yeah, Mbop.
Well, yeah, if we're going by what was super popular amongst my little group of friends, they all loved Oasis because I'm a little older than you. And that, especially that first album of theirs, You're My Wonder Wall.
It's good. It's
huge. Good. But really, I mean, I certainly had music that I loved. I loved REM. I loved the Cranberries. Either of them would have been
Dream, favorite song ever.
Oh yeah. So good. I do really regret that because she's passed away, the lead singer Dolores. I really wish that I had taken some chance to see them in concert because the thing about the Cranberries is they're just so unique. There's nobody else that sound quite like them, and so I just wish that I had seen them, but I didn't. I didn't really go to much concerts until I was in college. Uh, I went and saw Michael W. Smith, the Christian singer.
That's a wholesome concert.
Yeah. I saw him. That was my first concert that I ever went to. But I didn't go to a whole lot of other concerts until college, and then I've been to quite a few. But who would have been? I mean, really, the biggest thing musically that I was super into in high school was Les Mis. I was obsessed.
Yeah.
And I did get to see it in New York when I was a freshman. We took a choir trip up to New York City, and we had the choice. You could either go see Cats or you could see Les Mis.
You made the right choice.
Yes, I made the right choice. And I'm not kidding when I knew every single line to every song. I knew that entire show. If they had needed a swing at any moment, I could have.
You're like, Rachel?
Yeah, I really could have. I love that show so much. And they had it was fairly recent. They had the 10th anniversary concert. Now they have I think 25th, but the 10th anniversary concert was amazing. And it would play on PBS, and I just make sure record, and
I need to take it all in.
Yeah. And watch it over and over again. And I just absolutely loved it. So that was the music that was really inspiring me. But I definitely went through more in junior high or middle school. I went through a Celine Dion phase. Jewel. I was a big fan of Jewel.
Jewel's amazing.
Her Hands album. That was a favorite of mine.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Of course, I, enjoyed sort of the music that my dad, my mom's, she likes classical music and some Broadway and stuff, but she's not really, she likes to play the piano, but she's just not like a pop kind of person.
Yeah.
My dad isn't much either, but he does, like some. And so the Moody Blues, the Beach Boys, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
That's my dad's favorite too.
That was some, definite favorites. And I was in the Wiz. Are you gonna see the new revival of the Wiz?
I really want to.
Yeah, I hope you get to see it. I really wish that I'm sure it'll tour, and then I definitely want
to
see it.
It'll definitely tour.
But I was in the Wiz in high school, and that same freshman year, I was just in the back because I'm the worst dancer in the world, and so I was any kind of show tunes or of course Rent, that was big.
Oh, Rent was so I remember everyone like huge. 525,000.
Yeah.
We would have been like those kids together hanging out and doing that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's true. I think that that trying to think who, like, if as far as, yeah, I think that probably the Cranberries, that would probably be the band that I would have been the most excited for in high school. I also loved Amy Grant. Amy Grant was the one musician that my mom and I could agree on because she had like Christian roots and she was kind of, like and she liked Amy Grant, and she had done not too far after she'd done like a pop album, the Every Heartbeat and Baby Baby and
like we could be in the middle with Amy Grant. Yeah.
It was our it was our compromise album. Have you ever seen I Can Only Imagine?
No.
The movie? It's really good. I mean, it has some cringe parts because it's a faith-based film, but it does work quite well. And I don't know how the person they got looked so much like Amy Grant. It is unbelievable.
Really?
She looked identical to, if you told me that was actually her,
you believe that
herself, I would. And she looked exactly like her.
That casting call, they were like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was amazing. But yeah, I mean, there's just really nothing else to talk about. I mean, in this, there's like the little setup. Oh, we didn't get invited. And then Devo performing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting that it wasn't. And I was curious. I mean,
these episodes are short.
They're short.
So a couple songs, that's going to take up quite a bit of the 22 minutes.
Exactly. But, there wasn't really much else going on, which was funny because at least there's, like you said, usually a little bit more.
Yeah.
I was curious, when you were in your youth, had you ever been to a bat mitzvah?
No, I've never been to one, even now to this day. I've never been to one.
It's interesting. Same. And it makes sense. Like you being Mormon, me growing up Catholic, I didn't really even where I grew up, there weren't like really a lot of Jewish kids at all. But now like all the girls I coach are like around that age and most of them are Jewish. So they're all getting ready for their bat mitzvahs. And I'm like, I want to go.
Yeah. I had one friend who, I forget how she termed it, but was she was a Christian branch of Judaism. I don't know how, like, what she call it? Messianic?
Oh,
Messianic
yes. Did she call herself a Jew
like?
for Jesus?
No, she didn't say that, but
okay. I remember meeting people on the street that were saying that, and I'm like, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Yeah, I had one friend who was Jewish, but yeah, Messianic Judaism. Yeah. But she, I don't think she had like a bat mitzvah. She was an untraditional Jew. I have no idea like what, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to go.
Basically, we need to get invited to a bat mitzvah, and then we need to go to one of these wild ragers with solo cups because we didn't do that in high school either.
Yeah,
and neither of us drink now still, but
I never went to prom, so I mean, I just don't know how I like turned out somewhat functional. Missed all these iconic experiences. Because I think I've mentioned many times I had my appendix out the weekend of prom.
Which is you and my friend Russell have both had their appendixes out. And it makes me so nervous that two people that I love a lot, like, were very close to being in a really bad state.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to diagnose appendicitis unless it's acute. And I just had these like horrible pains and I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. I dropped out of all my activities. I even got a home tutor. Like it was bad. And the doctors were just very, very dismissive, like, oh, you're just, it's like monthly cramping or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not an idiot. I know the difference. Like, like, do they honestly believe that I would cancel all my activities and get a home tutor and everything because of monthly cramping? Like, they treat you like you're just kind of diva or something, and it really bothered me when I was in high school that the way people treated teenagers as if they were all idiots. You know, they were all just stupid and had nothing interesting to say. And I hated that. And so, yeah, it was definitely where I learned that, like, in life, you have to be your own advocate, because
100%,
especially when it comes to healthcare, because they are not going, even a good doctor, they still are not going to advocate for you the same way that you're going to advocate for you.
Absolutely. And it's really sad because it's like, to not Russell had the same situation in his burst, and he like got there just in time. It's like, listen to people.
Well, mine was really close, and we kept telling them, we're like, are you sure? Are you sure? So they do this explorative surgery, which is a miracle. That it was called laparoscopy, where they basically, they go in, they make two tiny little incisions, one for a camera and one for whatever, for a laser that's going to then take out whatever needs to get taken out. And, as opposed to traditional surgery where you have a major incision and stuff, there's just tiny little things. And then they fill your abdomen or wherever it is you're doing. It's a lot of times soldier surgery, things are laparoscopic. It's an amazing miracle of surgery. And they fill it with some air so that they can see around. And basically they were just like looking to find out what the heck was causing all this pain. And you can imagine how nerve-wracking that would be, going into surgery and not knowing what they were going to take out, what was going to happen. I had no idea. And I vividly remember waking up out of the anesthesia and saying, what did you do to me? What did you do to me?
Which I bet you were cute coming out of anesthesia.
My doctor said your appendix was looking green. And I was like, I knew it.
You're like, are you kidding me? You're like, oh, you thought I just had cramps?
And that night is the only night of my life that I've ever spent in a hospital overnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was just one night.
You were only in there one day?
I was in there one night, and here's random fact. So I was there the night of the Seinfeld finale, which is notorious for being really terrible.
Yep.
But I was in the hospital. The only night of my life I've been in the hospital was like one of the biggest nights in TV history.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But I don't have my tonsils. I don't have my appendix. So I'm just getting rid of unnecessary.
If you don't need it,
they're redundant.
Why keep it? Yep. You don't need it,
girl. Needs a kidney, let me know.
Oh my gosh, I looked into donating one. I'm still open to it. It's quite a recovery process, but sure. If you and I ever want to do it together.
Yes.
We'll just watch movies for a week and go.
Yeah. So, but it was fun, like watching like Devo perform. They were really famous for their red hats.
Yes.
From what I've seen online, I think this was actually like one of the more popular episodes of the show.
Which makes sense because of the iconic,
a big deal. And I'm sure it was super fun for like casting crew and everybody.
Definitely.
To see Devo. And let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. In trivia, IMDb, it says Jerry Seinfeld is not credited in this episode, but can be seen walking through the crowd at the bat mitzvah.
That's amazing because you literally just mentioned Seinfeld. So what a strange.
And Jamie Gutz's real life dad plays the rabbi in the episode.
Oh, that's cute.
Fun.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. And let's see here, another trivia. Jamie Gertz and Tracy Nelson each guest starred on separate episodes of Seinfeld. Jamie was the girl who dated Jerry and also did calls to Kramer and couldn't spare a square of toilet paper. Tracy was in the episode where Jerry dated her and everyone thought they looked alike. And then Tracy guest starred on an episode of Jamie's sitcom Still Standing, in the episode where Judy joins the PTA and she and Bill go to Tracy's character's house for barbecue.
Oh, I love that.
There we go. So trivia.
See, guys, we still managed to have things to talk about, even though this episode did not have a lot to talk about.
No.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the latest from Harpeth Road Press and best-selling author Jenny Hale, The Golden Hour. After the loss of her single father, Josie Wills is forced to give up her dreams and return home to take care of her autistic teenage brother, Nick. But she doesn't just leave her dreams behind, she also has to leave her real first love, Julian Russell. The Golden Hour is a powerful, heartwarming story that will have you believing in the power of love and the perfect accompaniment to your summer vacation plans. You can pick up The Golden Hour wherever you purchase your books or using the affiliate link below. Find out more about Jenny Hale and all the books from Harpeth Road Press at harpethroad.com. That's harpethroad.com.
Talk about episode 10. This is called Hardly Working. It says, a need for money forces the super cool Jennifer into donning a uniform and taking an unlikely and uncool job after school. And so what do you think of this episode?
So I actually thought it was fantastic to get to see Jennifer be so vulnerable. And, she's crying, and it's so interesting to see this actress take this journey. I was kind of horrified that Vinny was being so mean to her.
Yeah, he was pretty controlling in this episode.
Which actually I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I mean, he tries to say, I'm like a liberated guy. You want to be the breadwinner, that's fine. He kind of tries to make it up at the end, but he's still pretty judgmental. They all are of her doing this.
Yeah. Like, luckily, LaDonna has her back. But even I think Patty and Lauren kind of screw her over.
Yeah, no, they really do. They really do. But I did love LaDonna. She was really funny in this episode. She says, you think this is crowded? You should have seen our living room when the Jeffersons went to Hawaii. 3 worst Sundays of my life.
100%. LaDonna has the best lines this episode. That had me rolling. And how about when she sang Dreamgirls? I'm telling you, so good.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah, I was like, okay, thank goodness that she's bringing some light into this episode, because I do not like the way they're treating.
Yeah, so Vinny tells Jennifer to quit working at the diner. And that's when LaDonna says, I'm telling you, I'm not going.
It was great.
Yeah. And there was some funny, I mean, if you think about 1982, this would have been like the very start of Reagan, his administration, Reaganomics, all of that. And so don't that the Reaganomics doesn't trickle down onto Jennifer. And
there was some funny stuff with Muffy, and in that where she's like, oh, like Reaganomics has helped me. Like, there was some fun play there.
Yeah, and Muffy decides to make Jennifer her next charity case. So she's like, we're already helping the girl in Guatemala. Now,
he's cable now.
Yeah, she makes $86 in like a couple days for Jennifer. I wouldn't have ripped up that check.
Nope, I'd be taking that.
$86 in 1982.
I wonder with inflation what that would be.
Yeah, I could look it up.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Let me look it up. $86 in 1982.
I guess like 125.
That's actually a really good guess. It is $278.35. Like, okay.
I was way under.
Yeah, way. No, well, no, actually though, like, I love the podcast, My Favorite Murder, and they're always guessing numbers, and they're always way, way off. So yours was actually like a pretty good guess.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I like Buffy. She's like, help is my favorite word.
Yes.
And Jennifer, saying, I will trickle down wherever I please.
I was like, yep, here we go. It was pretty witty. I was into that.
Yeah. And so Jennifer's dad says she basically like has to take this job. She doesn't want to take the job, but things are tight, I guess. And so she's going to be working at a as a waitress.
Yeah, and it's like, where is the like grace that people have?
Yeah,
for others who like have to work.
I have all of the admiration in the world for anybody that does that kind of physical labor.
Definitely.
I literally physically couldn't do it. There's no way.
No, it's a lot. Like I've had so many side hustles, but being a waitress has never been one of them. And I just don't think it's for me. It's just like, and it's a lot of very intense, like people facing back to back to back stuff, you know?
Yeah. And keeping people happy. And there's so many things that are out of your control. They're trying to manage things. And when you get a great server, it makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And people that just know the menu, they have recommendations, they know what tastes good, like all of that. If you have somebody who's on the ball in their job, makes such a better experience.
Oh yeah. And it's like people really deserve, I mean, Jennifer's not really earning her tips because when she tells that guy who orders the burger.
Yeah.
What did he say? She overcooked it or was it undercooked?
I think overcooked.
Yeah.
And he's like, you ordered it well done. What do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah. But Vinny, tells her to quit, and that's when LaDonna says, I'm telling you, I'm not going. I mean, and that would have been, when was Dreamgirls? That would have been right then. Dreamgirls. Let's see, 1981. So that would have just come out.
Yeah, very timely.
Yeah, yeah.
I was actually like, oh, I didn't even realize Dreamgirls was out then. Like, you knew it was around that time, but very cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then Marshall and Johnny have this like talent show they're putting on. And that was kind of the B plot. And Muffy gets this $86 check for Jennifer. She rips it in half. And then she gets fired. And Vinny, I'm a liberated guy. You want to be the breadwinner? That's fine.
Also, I love that he's calling her the breadwinner. She has an after school job. Like, I actually think that this is actually kind of weird, even for like the 80s. It's because I can see a guy in the 80s talking about his like adult wife being like, I want to be the breadwinner, not my little lady. But they're in high school. Like, she's not winning bread for their family. Right. You know what I mean?
That's true. And it's just like phraseology that we just almost never hear.
Exactly.
Anymore. Like, nobody's the breadwinner. Like, even if somebody is a stay-at-home mom and or homemaker or a man being a homemaker, even if you have a full-time homemaker in the family, even if you do, you're collectively making it all work. By the part of the reason to have a homemaker is that then you are able to save money on like food and planning and certainly childcare, things like that. And so like cumulatively, you like one person is adding income to the family, but another person is adding income in the sense of making all of this stuff more economical. Right?
Yes. It is maddening to me. Like, you just explained it so well, because it's like there is so much that goes into being a homemaker. And I think most people realize it, but I do still think if you haven't ever done something like that, you don't have the concept necessarily of everything that goes into it.
Yeah, because if you are a dual income household, which is totally fine and understandable, but there are going to be expenses that come along with that that you have to then account for. And so you've made your choice, and now the biggest thing is childcare.
Yes.
Now you have to pay for. And then, but there's a lot of other little expenses like eating out a lot more lunches and driving and, things like that if you have a full-time homemaker that are less expensive. So it's every couple is different and every couple's needs are different and what they decide to do.
Definitely.
But the idea of like a breadwinner is just kind of archaic.
Yeah, absolutely. The phrase gets under my skin so much. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, like my parents were equally yoked, but my dad brought in the salary, but my mom was the homemaker. Yeah.
But that's absolutely right. It's like they're doing things that like maybe both of them prefer, and you can't have one without the other. In a way,
like
that ecosystem is working.
My mom had like a garden. She cooked dinner every day, things like that, like, or most days. And
I love that she was getting stuff from the garden. That's amazing.
Yeah, but as soon as because when my mom got pregnant, I have 3 much younger siblings. She had to go on full bed rest, and so then my dad became mom and dad during that time period. Plus,
I don't know how he did that.
Plus, like the year and change after, when you have a tiny infant, and so we as soon as that happened, we'd immediately go to paper plates. That's one of the things. And
I love that. He's like, let's make it happen.
Yeah. And my dad's a pretty good cook and a pretty, good housekeeper and everything. Like, and you don't have 6 kids and not know like kind of how to do stuff,
It's inevitable. He had to learn.
Right. And but it was there are some funny stories. Like we had this huge garden in Maryland where I grew up, and when my mom was pregnant with Sammy, who was 16 years younger than me, so my brother Sammy was born when I was 16. Anyway, and so we had this big garden. So my dad decides that he's going to convert it to all tomato plants, or almost all tomato plants. And because he had seen like these people selling tomatoes on like the side of the road, and he was like, this is going to be amazing. My kids are going to be entrepreneurs and this will be great. And we were all like, what?
Like, are we?
Like I'm a freshman in high school. I don't want to be, like if I don't have to, selling tomatoes, that just sounds embarrassing to a high schooler. And so he was very excited about growing all these 40, I think it was like 45 tomato plants.
What? Oh my gosh.
And so we ended up with all these tomatoes, and we went over to our friend's, one of my friend's mom's house, and she taught us how to can the tomatoes, which was a great skill.
That actually is a really good skill to have.
Yeah. And we made lots of pasta sauce, all different stuff. And then finally, we still had so many that my sister Anna, who's 10 years younger than me, and then my sister Megan, who's 2 years younger than me, they loaded up all these tomatoes onto our red wagon and went around the neighborhood, knock, 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 do you want tomatoes?
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, she would have been, Anna would have been at this point like 6. Yeah.
Oh my, she's just a little slip of a thing. Oh my gosh.
So there are things like that. I also remember when my mom was pregnant with Anna, my dad went and got this from like the deli, got this barbecued chicken kind of thing, like pulled chicken or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you all like it? Do you like it? And we were like, oh yeah, this is so good. We like it. He was really excited. And and we in general, we're not that picky. We're pretty good. But still, you get especially something easy when you're as busy as my dad was. And so then the next day he bought 3 pounds. We were like, what?
He was like, the kids loved it. They loved it.
You're like, 3 pounds.
You're like, okay, that's gonna be a lot of chicken to go through. Okay. I loved how you guys were doing all these entrepreneurial things, because you're an entrepreneur now. And isn't your brother very entrepreneurial as well?
Yes, my brother. And he was growing up, my brother was. He would sell his clothes to all his friends.
Like Lily.
And my mom was like, you can't sell your clothes. Like, you pay for them. We paid for them. And one time there was this Boy Scout hike up the mountains, and it was in the winter, I guess. Anyway, he brought snow cone syrups with him in his bag so that he then could make snow cones.
I mean, honestly, it's
like
genius.
Cups and stuff. Yeah,
it's genius.
And then one time he got in trouble at the school because the band people were selling candy bars for like a fundraiser thing. And he was like, hey, wait a minute, I can do that. So he like went to Costco and he got like candy bars. And we're like, you can't do that. You can't be selling stuff at school. And he's like, why? They're doing it. I'm like, absolutely. He's right.
He's right. It's a fundraiser for himself. And I support that.
Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
It's just interesting. My grandfather was an inventor and an entrepreneur, founder. He invented the grabber screw, which was the first drywall screw for metal studs.
Oh my god!
I know, talk about random, but like
it's revolutionized. Random, but awesome.
It revolutionized the construction industry. Yeah. Any commercial, and he had a patent on it. So any commercial construction for a long time, you had to use grabber. And
that's so genius.
Yeah, because the way that it grabbed the screw to the metal stud, the drywall to the metal stud, was revolutionary, and that's how he made his big breakthrough. But my grandfather was always looking for the next great idea.
Yeah,
he would have been great on like the Shark Tank.
Yes, he probably could have pitched 8 different things.
He would have been a great shark.
Oh, shark. Yeah.
He would have been great.
He'd be like, yep, I'm going to invest in that.
Like looking at people's pitches and being like,
yeah, that'll work. That's not going to work.
Yeah. I thought it was fun how they keep showcasing tabletop games in this show. And I feel like, I don't know, I'd be interested to know teens today if that's something that has been kind of lost, or I'd like to think that teens are still having fun playing tabletop games.
From the things that I'm hearing, I do think that this generation especially is like a little bit rejecting some of the tech stuff, or at least going back to some of the basics. I think that's really cool of them, and I hope it's still thriving.
So Johnny is playing Family Feud and keeps giving a survey says,
that was cute.
Yeah, he was good. And they just had a bunch of different games and that they were playing. And then did you have a favorite game that you would play with your family?
Growing up, probably Clue.
Yeah, Clue's
what about
fun.
You?
Well, we played a lot of Boggle, and Scrabble. Boggle, Scrabble, once we were old enough to like read and stuff.
Get it? Yeah.
Yeah. And my mom's always come up with these weird words. You're like, where did you hear that word?
But
like,
real words.
Like, yes, they're real. And they always be like parts of a ship. She's like, it's like the helm of a ship. I'm like, what? How do you know this? Do you have a secret career in the Navy that we don't know
about? She's probably reading up on all of it while she was on bed rest when she was pregnant. Right. She's like, I'm taking in all these things.
We had a lot of fun with Boggle. We also would play bingo. That was a favorite. My grandma loved making anything that was like themed, making parties entertaining, and so like we would have bingo as part of, like, if say there was like an Easter party, which she would do these incredible Easter egg hunts and incredible days, and she would print out a special like Easter bingo, and then she would get these rolls of quarters, and so that was very exciting. That like you might get a couple quarters.
I love that.
yeah. Ooh, big money.
Yeah, big money. Well, I was just used to be excited for the win, but to get money out of it too, sign me up.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a lot of good memories. Later on, I got introduced to Pit, and that's a favorite. I love Pit. I've talked about it a couple times.
You need to teach me how to play that.
Oh yeah, we have to. The only tricky is you have to have 4 people to play Pit.
That is kind of hard because I feel like 3. You can't do 3. It needs to be 4.
You just need enough people to be passing so it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, like more exciting.
Yeah. Because you're gonna clear the market like real quick if there's only so many, like the more people you have, the more fun it is.
So if you were doing 10, that'd be ultimate.
Oh yeah, that'd be super fun. Yeah.
We should do one at the next convention that we all go to.
That'd be fun. That would be really, really fun. But yeah, I mean, that's basically all there is in this one. You have Jennifer, she has to take this job. She's kind of judged for it. Vinny has to learn to be a liberated guy. And at the end, she ends up fired. There's some jokes about trickle-down economics.
Yeah.
But the best line in this whole thing was the 3 worst Sundays of my life. I hate George Jefferson.
Yeah, LaDonna stole this episode for me.
She was really funny. She was really, really good. So there we go. That is this episode. And I know that we went on some major tangents. You probably didn't want to hear all about my dad's tomato farm.
I mean, I did. We haven't caught up in like a week, so we had things to say.
That's right.
And these episodes were not that full.
It just was not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the next 2 episodes are Christmas episodes, so that should be really fun. It's really a 2-parter, Child's Christmas in Wee. It's part 1 and 2.
Have you ever seen A Child's Christmas in Wales?
No, I don't know if I have. I know the name. That sounds familiar.
I remember when I was young, the theater, not the community theater that I did, but like a theater that was like a semi-professional theater that was maybe an hour away. They were doing it. So like the title always sticks in my head, but I've never seen it. But this is, I think it'll be cute. And again, it's like an intersection of things that we love. It's Sarah Jessica Parker and some Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. It should be a really good one. So let us know what you think if you've seen these 2 episodes or any of the random weird things we talked about. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
If it resonates, let us know.
Yes,
get your appendix checked.
Yes. Be your own advocate for your health. So there we go. That is what's going on. And make sure you check out all of our recaps. And we've recapped every episode of Sex and the City, every episode of the Carrie Diaries, and now this, and just like that.
Sorry, before we go, did you see that Rosie O'Donnell is going to be on and just like that?
Like as a recurring or as a cameo?
Wait a minute. I know I just said that, and now I'm worried that that's wrong.
Oh, no,
I think it is. Okay, let me see.
Let's see.
Yep.
Rosie O'Donnell joins, and just like that for season 3, and there's no sign of Sarah Ramirez.
It'll be really interesting. Who is she playing? We don't really know. I'm not sure if I really see her with. No, I'm not saying that
joining the cast, so that doesn't sound like it's going to be like a cameo. It sounds like she's at least a feature role.
And here's the thing: some of the things are saying like, is she with Miranda? I hope not.
No, I can't imagine
that's not a fit. That's not a fit.
It just seems like that would be sort of subbing out Che for Rosie,
100%.
Feels weird.
But cool. We'll see how that
Sarah
goes.
Jessica Parker shared on Instagram season 3 table read with the caption, "Here we go," and she tagged Cynthia Nixon, Kristen Davis, Nicole Ari Parker, Sarita Chandray, but not Ramirez, who reportedly was let go from the series after season 2. Karen Pittman, who will not be reprising her role as Professor Nia Wallace in season 3 because of scheduling conflicts, also was not tagged. On Instagram, O'Donnell also showed a picture from the table read showing a card with her character's name, Mary, on it. A spokesperson for Math confirmed that O'Donnell will star in season 3, but did not offer details.
We're going to have a lot to talk about, my friends.
Oh my gosh. There we go. Yeah.
Unpack that. We'll unpack that for you
soon. There we go. Well, again, let us know what you think of all these things. And please make sure you're following us on all the socials, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast. And Jax, where can people follow you?
Jacqueline Collier on Instagram.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And also you can follow us at City Girls Pod on Twitter. I'll make sure I share this story on City Girls Pod about Rosie. So that's exciting. And if you were listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. And we also have our Patreon group, which we so appreciate that support, and the merch store where we have City Girls Pod merch. So check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.